I'm hoping I'll be saying some interesting and useful things for you today. First, I'd like to introduce myself, my background a little bit. I'm currently a research fellow at UCL, and I am also an assistant professor at Chalmers University of Technology in Sweden. And my research focuses on data efficient learning from multisensory data for robotic grasping and manipulation. So I started out my research career as a PhD student at KTH, and I stayed at KTH as a postdoc, and I was involved in large EU projects that focused on everyday manipulation tasks for robots. As you see here, we were working on cool projects such as flipping pancakes for the two-arm humanoid robot. These were really fun and exciting and got me into research. It got me even more excited about research. Therefore, I wanted to pursue more in this direction and went to University of Birmingham as a postdoc again, this time even in a more challenging area such as nuclear robotics, where the current solution focused on teleoperating robots, but we wanted to bring more autonomy to this domain. After this, I actually wanted to sample a little bit more in terms of experiences, and I wanted to try industrial positions, because I wanted to also know how things work in reality, where things are more applied. I went to ABB Corporate Research as a scientist and did research and development work there. I had my own project. I worked on assembly for industrial applications. I worked with this robot, as you see here, two-arm robot that does fine small-scale assembly. Then I got a very nice offer from a California-based startup, Vicarious, and I was asked to do research and development in industrial manufacturing tasks. I had my own team. I was doing also research as well in high precision manipulation. And we worked on very cool prototyping of their first products ever. And it was challenging, it was hard, but I enjoyed working in a team and working on real challenging applications. Let's see if I can move. Okay. I want to say a few words about what got me into this type of career while I'm running this, one of the demos that we had on the corner. I actually I basically wanted to learn how research is done, because I heard from somebody saying that PhD is a license to do research, and having a PhD degree, you would know where to start, you would know how to do things in terms of research. And initially, my goal was to follow a career in academia, but then I realized that actually PhD degree is also very useful in industries as well, just as in my experience in these two companies. I was very curious about AI when I first took the artificial intelligence course as an undergrad student, and I wanted to closely observe the evolution of this research area. I wanted to be able to understand what's going on and also contribute to it. And I got to know about robotics, embodied intelligence, and I wanted to build systems that evolve and learn from scratch, just like humans do. I knew that was the future. I wanted to be a part of it. But when I started my PhD, I had no idea how challenging this would be. And at the end, we would just be scratching the surface of the research field we were in. So therefore, I'd like to share some of my interpretations and observations with you about how to build a research career. So in conventional sense, you start out with your PhD degree. And what is a PhD degree? A PhD is basically an academic degree focused on original research. You get to know existing theories, you understand, you will be able to evaluate them and identify gaps in the current research literature. You need to be able to advance the state of the art with the original research that you conduct, and you are expected to communicate effectively your research findings to your peers, and at the end you will be judged based on your research, how novel it is, what is the original contributions that you had. PhD degree will help you to develop valuable transferable skills. It will teach you how to be a team player as well. You will have a chance to collaborate with other researchers and learn from them in terms of both research and experiences. You will be a problem solver. You will dare to address challenging problems, and you will improve your presentation and communication skills. And as I mentioned earlier, this will also help you find this may help you find very good industrial positions as well, because it's valuable in industry too. However, it's a very long journey, and you need to be able to find the field and the topic that suits you best. Depending on the funding resources, the flexibility of your research might be affected, but I would definitely advise and encourage you to make the most of your PhD time by giving talks, visiting different places, growing your network, building more collaborations, and seeking constant feedback from your peers and advisor, and do internships in different places, and make your work visible by publishing or sharing, by building your own website, for instance. Next step you could take is a postdoctoral research career. It's a temporary position that allows you to continue your training as a researcher and gain even more skills. You can take this opportunity to increase your number of papers. You can experiment and apply for grants to start building your career even further. You can try to get more teaching experience, and even change your research focus, because you will have your license to do research, and this will also help you show your independence and get a greater autonomy. There you will be able to, I think there you will find a lot of different types of fellowships and postdoctoral support, and some might lead to permanent positions, and there is some very interesting funding opportunities that would even give you group leader positions and great financial support for several years. During your postdoctoral work, majority of your responsibility will still be research. The next step you can consider is a faculty position, which will involve different type of activities. You will be doing teaching, student advising, research, grant application, administration. You will be preparing teaching materials, giving lectures, setting the assessment procedures, student supervision, some administrative work. But you will generally be measured on your research success, and the traditional path will be lecturer, senior lecturer, reader, and professor trajectory. And research-wise, your role will include, giving invited talks, conference presentations, short and long-term planning of your research agenda, keeping up with the current literature in your field, supervising projects, applying for external funding, building your own team. These are all the research-wise activities you would be working on. As you go higher up in the ladder, you may realize that your actual research time you may not spend your actual research time just as you did in your PhD or postdoctoral period, but it'll still be very, very, very rewarding. Spending some time in industry, I think that I can also provide some comparison between two different environments, which you might find useful. So in industrial positions, you might find that research might actually mean finding the best approach for the product, and you will still be able to publish, but they publish papers, but that may not be the high priority. You might be focusing more on the demonstration of the research findings in terms of reaching your company goals. You need to be really a team player, a constructive person that can work in a large team, working with your peers in harmony, focusing on company goals. And in terms of research directions, you might have less freedom, but you will be in a more structured environment, and you will be getting constant feedback, and you will be measuring your progress in short term as well. You will have clear, tangible goals, and in comparison, in academia, you might have more freedom to determine what you want to do in terms of your research. You can build up your own team, and you will have freedom of your time. You will have more autonomy and independence, and you will have a lot of chances to build your own collaborations. And you can have actually a take a long-term approach to problem solving. So these are like some very high-level comparisons of two different environments. If you're interested in this discussion, we can also take that in the later session. I would like to recommend you to understand your priorities in order to choose the right career path for you after your PhD. So what is it that you're most interested in? Would you like more intellectual freedom or flexibility? How would you like to spend your time day to day? Would you be happy doing teaching? Publishing your research findings, traveling, collaborating with other people. Applying for grants, etc. So what is your strength? Do you like managing your own time, or do you prefer to work in a more structured, process-oriented environment? Are you enjoying working independently or working within a team alongside others? Do you feel comfortable, managing your own career trajectory, or would you be more comfortable sharing your success with a team? These are some hard questions, but you should ask yourself, where do you expect to see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? What is your long-term goals? But your choices doesn't have to be final. You can of course change your mind, and nowadays it's very it is not difficult to change transition between different environments. You can move from industry to academia or vice versa, because each experiences from different fields are valuable for the other one. So regardless of where you do your research, AI research is showing us already very exciting results, and we see successful applications daily. But expectations are still high, and there is a lot to do still. I'm very interested in solving challenging real-world problems and focusing on robotics and AI. There is a lot of room for research here, and we need novel approaches to solve them. My focus is on robotic grasping and manipulation. As you see, that is a key skill for many of these applications to succeed. But it is very difficult because we want robots to act in real environments, and we want them to be able to deal with various types of objects. And even though there is a lot of progress in this field, we still are far from human level dexterity. When we look at even little children, we see that actually we can learn from little experience and generalize our skills to different scenarios. But this is difficult for robots. One main reason is that the data that they have access to is imperfect. As you see in this example, it is incomplete, it's noisy, far from being perfect, and they also have different types of embodiments. When you compare, for instance, human hand with a robot hand, we see that robot hands are still inferior, and we have a lot more sophisticated sensing in our skin. The robotic counterparts are still, they have less resolution or less informative data, and this might lead to failures. So one central question here is, how do we make use of this type of data, and that can be noisy, incomplete, sparse, and not abundant, and how can we build systems that can achieve high-level goals, that can adapt to changes, that can generalize well to unseen situations, and it can operate robots without failure? These are very challenging, interesting questions that will help us to build systems that achieve various tasks for us. And it's hard, challenging, requiring a lot of work, and I hope to be able to see many of you working on this problems as well. Before I conclude, I'd like to say that research career can sometimes be difficult. Things might get tough, but you need to be patient. And as in my experience, when you keep working hard, good results will inevitably follow. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I've said something useful, and I'm very much looking forward to the panel session to have more discussions with you.